Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And it's raining. It's been raining all night. It's still raining, and if anything, it just gets heavier and heavier every time. So much for my gardener complaining why it wasn't, why it hadn't rained properly or why it doesn't rain properly in our area. Just go out to the main road and the canal, and it's raining hoops. And you come into our residential area, and it's like, oh, as if it was just somebody just sprinkled a few drops and let be done with it. So I'm sure he's now wondering why he even complained, because God is like, okay, you want rain on this side, let's give you a chapar parke. Yeah. Today I'll be probably adding a few Urdu Punjabi words in between, because sometimes, English, in fact, many times, English doesn't do justice. Uh, but Chapar Park is basically like the whole 9 yards. Um, but anyway, what else can I say? Because, I have multiple times almost picked up the mic to start a podcast today, and every single time I'm about to pick up the mic, I'm like, you know what, let's not bother, it's not worth it, or I would just forget. And even now, actually, it's the rain that made me pick up the mic so that I should, ramble on about the rain. But the truth is, I just don't feel like saying much, because I am not in a very good place mentally speaking. And it tends to get worse. Obviously, I knew it 20 years ago that if I didn't get the break I needed, then things could get worse. And yeah, things are getting worse. But reason why I'm not going to even talk about the 6 judges and the letters and all is because I never expected anything to happen, and hey presto, nothing happened. I mean, seriously, this is a dictatorship, an American imposed dictatorship. How the hell would anybody in their right mind even think about it, that 6 judges are writing a letter in which they are very openly mentioning that their privacy is being violated? There has been secret illegal surveillance in their homes, or in certain residential residences, you can say, that they are obliged to reside in for a while, that their courts are not free and secure, that their families are being threatened, they are being threatened, but the point is, they know, and we know, the Chief Justice Faiz is not going to say anything or do anything, because in fact the whole system got compromised because of him. He is the one that compromised the legal system. He's the one that compromised the freedom, the independence of the judiciary. So if anything, they should clobber him. What's the point of writing the letters? It doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense to put it on the record, I get, first, for the sake of precedence, because in law, precedence is important, it's essential. But still, apart from that, nothing going and nothing doing. So, yeah, I mean, America has finally got a grip on Pakistan. And it is just, America's damned if it's going to allow Pakistan to get its freedom back. After all, it's this close. It's this close to using Pakistan to wage war. So why would it let Pakistan gain its freedom? No way, Jose. But let me tell you, as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, America, Europe, these countries are going to be the ones that are going to self-destruct. They're going to implode in this very war that they are in such a hurry to wage. They might claim that they're not in such a hurry because it took them a century, but still, they are still in a hurry, and they are going to destroy themselves with their own hands. So apart from that, I really have nothing to say with where these people are concerned. The fact that social media is compromised, the fact that you've got metaverse, which is the most compromised of all social media platforms. I think TikTok too is compromised because against my better, I mean, let's just put it this way. Everybody was edging that, that we should go to TikTok because it's a bit more freer, and especially the audience is not restricted, it's not limited, blah, blah, blah. So I opened a TikTok account yesterday, and, first everything went easy breezy. And then I noticed that after the first three videos, every single video, after the first two actually, after the first two videos I posted, every other video that I would post, every single other video that I would post, suddenly a system notification would come that, you have violated our guidelines. And I could not see how I violated the guidelines because I was simply posting, first of all, original content, second of all, part of my podcast, third of all, my book releases. None of these had anything to do with anything. So either there was a problem with TikTok because it was TikTok Lite, because TikTok was taking up too much space on my already filled up phone. So I decided to go for TikTok Lite. And I thought that maybe it was because it was the Lite app, so it was creating a problem. But then, it just peed me off. So today I deleted the account. I'm like, F you, screw you all. But the truth is, I did get a lot of views. I got instantaneous views, even on those so called removed content. So, according to TikTok, it had removed my content, but my content was actually there and it was getting views. It was weird, but it's just that it peed me off. And I was like, you know what? I'm already pretty peed off having to deal with metaverse, and YouTube. And then I have to deal with Minds. I literally have to turn on VPN in order to go to Minds because my government has suddenly decided to block Minds. And this was really something that I found a bit weird because for quite some time I was expecting the government to block Minds, but it seemed that Minds had never been on the government's radar because the truth is, let's face it, Minds.com doesn't have a very, very, very vast user base. Although I know many of the very old veteran Twitter users shifted from Twitter to Minds since the censorship on Twitter began. But still, but now here's another problem. Minds claims that it will never restrict your audience views so that it basically, your posts will be visible to everyone, anyone and everyone, unlike metaverse, where the whole point is to restrict the views, to force you to pay for your posts to be viewed. And why the hell would anybody want to do that on social media, seriously? Unless it's actually an ad that you're, trying to post. So the fact that Minds claims that it does not, but the truth is that Minds too has begun its monetization thing called Super Minds, and so certain content does get blocked from main visibility, unless you're a Super Mind user or follower or whatever. So I mean, the point is, I hate such things. I hate such things. The whole point of social media was supposed to be, just freely communicating, freely posting, freely checking out other posts. That's what it was supposed to be. But constantly turning social media platforms into this weird, you know, um, hampered. It's really hampered. They've hampered it. And when you feel hampered on social media, then obviously you're going to drop out. And for a person like me who can't be bothered anyway with such stupid, frivolous activities, and the only reason that we are on social media is in order to get some real communication out there and to promote, for example, our books and our stuff, um, really to get into such stupid restrictions and get into such stupid hampered usage, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth our time, and it's not worth the tension. Okay, frankly. So, yeah, I mean, I've never even expected anything much from the social media anyway. Never was very much into it anyway. And at and yet you'll see that I have still actively worked on all my platforms, only to find out that suddenly many of these platforms now want to deliberately restrict your viewership so that you should pay to get viewership, which is the most stupid, ridiculous thing, as I said, ever. It kind of is an oxymoron. It contradicts the very idea of social media, you know? Um, so, yeah. So I can very easily tell you YouTube is also going to cause its own demise, as well metaverse, because now people are basically just using metaverse in order to curse metaverse. People are using metaverse in order to highlight all the things that are wrong with metaverse, and metaverse may think that that's a good thing, but it's not. Bad PR isn't always PR. No, it could actually mean the beginning of an end. So there's that. So yeah, this time Ramzan, what can I say, this time it is well paced. It's not going too fast, it's not going too slow. It seems to be very well paced. I wouldn't say it's going very slow, and I wouldn't say it's just whizzing by us. Every single month has whizzed by us, believe me. But somehow Ramzan seems to have put a sort of a stay, you know? It has put a sort of a stay to that speed. And so it's like it has, grabbed uh, onto the accelerator and eased it up a bit. That's what it feels like. So, yeah, I mean, a little over, more than half of Ramzan has passed, yes, but still. I mean, it's not like I would say that I couldn't feel it go by. I've, I have actually felt the pacing of each day in a good way. I mean, as you know, to me, fasting is the same as my regular days. To me, it doesn't matter. To me, Ramzan or no Ramzan, um, these are my regular days are the same anyway. So I hope everybody else is having a good, peaceful Ramzan, although it's so ironic to even say that, knowing that Palestine and Kashmir are not. If anything, the extremist Hindus and the Nazi Zionists, they amp up on their terrorist activities when Ramzan, when during Ramzan, they seem to find it sadistically satisfying to torture people who are already fasting. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's what their God has taught them to. I've come to this point in life now, especially these past 2 3 days, where I think that the kind of people you are, um, your God reflects in you. So what kind of a God do you believe in that makes you sadists and psychopaths? That God shouldn't be allowed to exist. No righteous God can have a creation like the Nazi Hindus and the Nazi Zionists. The Americans, the Europeans, I don't know what God it is that they believe in and who that God is. He is certainly not worth believing in. That's what I'll say. I would say that their beliefs, their acts, their lifestyle, the way they're behaving, the way they're occupying other lands, and the way they're committing genocide, and the way they're creating fitna on earth. I have a problem with their God. Whoever or whatever it is that they're worshipping. Yeah, there's something very wrong with that thing. that being or thing, whatever it is that they're worshipping. There's something so wrong with it, you know. So I really can't say anything else, because at this point, according to the pro-Zionist social media, if I would say anything at all to the Zionists and the Nazis in America and India, then I will be violating guidelines. However, every single abuse, every single sadistic activity, every single torture, every single, atrocity committed by these very people is freedom of speech, by the way. Yes, please, thank you. That's freedom of speech. As I said, whoever your God is, as we say in Urdu, लानत है उस पे, या लानत है तुम लोगों के खुदा पे, जो भी वो है. And this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.